Game day just got better at Wooden Tap. Catch all the action with unbeatable tappy hour specials and crave-worthy bar bites. From wings and nachos to fan favorites made fresh from their scratch kitchen, there's something for everyone. Whether you're cheering with friends or just hungry for a win, Wooden Tap is your go-to spot for food, drinks, and live sports. Wooden Tap, come as you are, leave happy. Find your nearest tap at woodentap.com.
We are continuing to do some previews as we go across the state, getting ready for the college basketball season. Join me today. We've got the coach at Quinnipiac, Tom Pecora. So, Coach, thanks so much for hopping on.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with this one for you. And I know you're entering your third year here now as the head coach at Quinnipiac. What's it feel like going into year three? Because I feel like year three is always that year where you finally start to get your legs fully under you and really kind of start to get your culture building up.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, this is year 40 for me doing this. So, and I'm blessed to be, to have done it this long and to enjoy it. And the great thing about it is, as a coach, you don't grow up, in certain aspects. Like, as a young kid, it's like, all right, it's fall, it's almost basketball season, and I still get that feeling. I'll be on the beach and down on Long Island in August, and my mind's racing already, thinking about some things while I'm supposed to be chilling and relaxing, but I'm already thinking about it. And I get that same feeling I did as a kid. Like it was almost right before Labor Day. You're almost like, all right, I'm ready for summer to be over. I'm ready to go back to school, and I'm ready to get this going. And then the anticipation of a season. It doesn't matter when you just have love for the game, and it's going to be really hard. I kid around my wife, and I tell her I'm going to retire in 3 years, and she just shakes her head and laughs. She says, "You're not going to retire." She said, "You're never going to retire." And I don't know if that's because she doesn't want me around the house or because she's known me for 60 years, so she knows what I'm all about.
Yeah. No, it's awesome to see that excitement there, getting ready, and just thinking about the season. I mean, obviously, Quinnipiac coming off a lot of success in your time there, back-to-back MAC regular season champs. What are going to be some of the keys for your team this year to continue building upon the success and momentum you've built over the past couple seasons here?
Yeah, well, man, it's always the formula really never changes. It's about having really good players. You can't win without good players, and we're blessed to have a number of them and a few that people thought would move on and decided to stay, and that's been a key for us. And that's probably why in the preseason poll anyway we were picked number one. But that all goes out the window once they throw the ball up in the air. When you go through a season that is a marathon. I once again I talk about being an old man, but I remember, when basketball season started Thanksgiving weekend, and now we start the first Monday of the month of November, and the season is a marathon, and there's going to be a huge number of ups and downs. You're going to have to deal with injuries, hopefully, God willing, not any severe ones, but you really have to pace yourself. You have to understand and teach these young men how to go about pacing themselves and being able to make it through a full season healthy and continue to be locked in, especially for freshmen.
Yeah.
We still bring in guys from high school, unlike a lot of places. And, it's important for those young guys to learn the cadence of a season, how long it is and why we do certain things and how to take care of your mind and body during the course of the season. So all of those things will come into play. But once again, we do have some veteran leadership out there on the floor, and I think that'll be a key for us.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the season being a marathon. I mean, you're throwing them into the fire right away in this non-conference schedule you put together. Opening with St. John's, you got CCSU, another great team, in-state Yale, another good in-state team. You go to Pitt, UCF. Outside of obviously winning the games, what other goals are you trying to get out of this tough non-conference schedule that you put together for your team?
Yeah, well, all my teams have always had similar goals in that you want to have a winning non-conference record. You want to win your conference championship, and then you shoot to win your conference tournament to get the bid. But it varies depending on your personnel and what kind of team you have. And as a head coach, I talk to my staff all the time, and I was so lucky, man, as an assistant to work with Bob McKillop, who went on to be with, Steph at Davidson and be a legend at Davidson College, and then Rolly Massimino, and then Jay Wright and I were working together and just see the different ways that different people do it. But I talk to my guys all the time and my staff about what you need to do to pace yourself going through a season and what to expect depending on your roster and your personnel. And that changes now more quickly than ever.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge for us. But I still love the energy of it. We come in here and as a staff, we work hard when I meet individually with these players. We're really lucky. We got good guys that really want to be good basketball players, and I talk to them all the time about if you're handling your academics, you can play basketball with a clear mind. And we've been blessed. The guys that stay here with us for 4 years, they all graduate.
Yeah. I want to dive into the roster a little bit because I think one thing that I think is special about the team you put together this year, I mean, you bring back Amarri Monroe's Player of the Year, Jaden Zimmerman, who was an all-MAC rookie team. I think if you look at most MAC teams or other mid-major teams, if they had players of that caliber, they're not back for another year. They're off now in the transfer portal. How were you able to retain these players and keep them here in at Quinnipiac?
Yeah, well, two very different scenarios with each guy, but I think the big picture thing is Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
I think when people come on this campus, now once again, I keep telling you how old I am. I visited this campus with my high school coach. We drove through here on an unofficial visit. He took me to I always grew up in Queens,
Okay.
so he brought me through and we stopped at Bridgeport, New Haven, and then I said, Coach, both these places kind of look just like home. And he said, "Well, I'm gonna take you to a place that doesn't look like home." And we drove to campus here. It was the main campus.
Yeah.
Our campus up here where the arena is wasn't here yet. And then I looked at Sleeping Giant and that giant campus, and I was like, "Wow, this is a way too much not like Queens,"
Yo.
But the school has just grown and grown, and when you see the experience here, I've been to 7 universities over 40 years of coaching. And this is a really special place. It kind of checks every box. So I think that has as much to do with these young men coming back and staying as anything else.
Yeah.
The other thing is we're dealing with unique scenarios. Amari Monroe was somewhere else as a freshman, had a poor experience, and he's really connected here and had a good time here, both on and off the court, and he feels like it's home. And that's one of the main reasons why he chose to come back and take much, 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 much less money than was offered to him by some of these big schools because he wanted to be happy.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a senior that was happy with his friends, playing with teammates, having friends on campus, being part of it. Maybe someday we hang his number from the rafters here.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen anymore for these guys that are bouncing around school to school. They're not going to have a true alma mater,
Yeah.
and they're not going to have an alumni base to go back to when they're done playing to say, hey, I need your help. I want to get a job or get into a new business venture or whatever it might be. And in Jaden Zimmerman's case, there were offers out there for him, but speaking with him and his family, I just said, you're going to get much bigger and better offers if you stay one more year. And luckily, both guys come from middle class families. There isn't tremendous poverty or need there. And I've coached guys that are in that other situation, and I understand that as well. When you're hungry and when your family's hungry, you have to make different decisions than you can do when you're living a fairly comfortable
Yeah.
life. So we got very lucky with both of them.
Yeah. So take me through. Let's talk Amarri first a little bit. I mean, Player of the Year. What impresses you the most about his game, and what are you most excited to see out of him this year?
Well, with every player, I look forward to seeing them grow and their game becoming better and better. But what impresses me the most about Amari is his resilience. Whether it be on the court or off the court, whatever he's dealing with in his life or on the basketball court, he's I call him a rebounder, not meaning he's going to get the ball off the backboards, but he's able to rebound from anything. It's not what happens to you in life, it's how you handle it. And that's
Yeah.
something we talk to these guys about all the time. And that's true on the basketball court. So he's not a perfect player, but when he makes a mistake, he knows I'm not going to jump his ass and be screaming at him. And unless he makes two bad mistakes, then I might. But there's that comfort level. We
Yep.
we finish each other's sentences. We've been around each other so long. So I think that that's where the comfort for him comes, and also for him, he would not have stayed if he didn't think he had a strong group around him that was going to help him have an opportunity to continue to win a lot and go win a championship. So I think he's unique in that sense. He's incredibly mature for a college
Yeah.
player, and
Yeah.
uh, and that's a blessing.
All right, we'll talk about Jaden, and then we'll let you hit on some of the other guys on the roster here. But he comes back all MAC rookie team. I feel like that freshman to sophomore year jump, you always get kind of that big jump there. What are you looking to see from his game as he makes that jump this year, staying another year with your system and program?
Yeah, I think just being more consistent. He'll dominate games for stretches, and then last year he did, and then you won't hear from him for a couple minutes, and then he'll come back and make an incredible play, and you'll be like, "Wow, where was that guy?" So I think that comes with maturity, and that's something he's done a great job with. He did a great job regarding his body. We talk after the season to all of our players about having you basically a 7-month window here to change your body, get bigger, stronger if you need to, or trim down if that's what you need to do, whatever it is. And he's taken full advantage of that. I mean, he's cut out of stone. He looks like an NFL wide receiver now. He's gotten bigger and stronger at every bit of 6'5", and now when he goes to the rim, people are bouncing off him.
Yeah. As you go down the rest of the roster here, give us some names of guys that we should be having our eye on heading into this season.
Well, the one that they may not play the most minutes, but Braylon Ritvo was a redshirt for us last year.
Hmm.
Samson Riley, they both redshirted their freshman year, and that's something that a lot of people would frown upon in the world we're living in now because
Yeah.
everybody's just trying to get to the next place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But those two guys just did a great job for us. Sim Jones comes in as a transfer, and he'll be our starting point guard. He comes in from FIU, but he's a Jersey guy originally. And he's done a great job defending on the basketball. He gives us great size at 6'3" at the point guard position. So we'll be able to play him at the point, Jay-Z at 6'5" at the two, Amarri at a little over 6'6" at the three, Grant Randall at the four at every bit of 6'8", 6'9", and then have Spence Wee Wee in the middle at 6'10". So we have great size. We have major conference
Yeah.
size, 1 through 5. And then when we go to the bench, there's still, I mean, we have 8 guys, I believe, this year, 6'5" or bigger.
Yeah.
So we have great length and size, and that could be a good thing for us if indeed, we stay to our principles, which are being a good defensive team that really rebounds the basketball. So that length could help in both regards.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the MAC, and I know it might be hard now with all of these rosters having just a bunch of new guys on them, not having really seen anyone play. But the MAC's always one of my favorite leagues year in and year out to watch. Always great basketball, great coaches. Just your thoughts on the MAC heading into this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of grew up with the MAC, growing up in Queens and watching like during my college years, those great Iona teams. I would go
Yeah.
to games at Iona when Jimmy V was coaching there, and then the great battles back then when Iona would be playing Fairfield and Fordham and St. Peter's had great teams. So I've been around this conference for a long time. Even when I was coaching in other conferences, I always had one eye on the MAC because there was such a strong, Northeast connection and metropolitan area, New
Yeah.
York connection. So the hard thing now for us in our league, like when you look, I believe in the preseason poll, it was like ourselves, Siena, and Sacred Heart. Is that right,
Yeah.
Nick? In the top three, and that's because we retained people.
Yeah.
So we're not sure how good. No one knows how good the guys are coming in at these other schools. We don't know what the chemistry is going to be like. But the whole thing is, I've said it,
Yeah.
just about every interview I've done. This is broken.
Yeah.
Our game is broken, and I know I sound like an old fart
Yeah.
saying that, but like I just these young people not getting the experience they once got,
Yeah.
and the stress and duress that they're under because they're always thinking about the next place, the messing up. Is that going to hurt my opportunity to make money? Do I need to get money? How much money can I get? After I get that, should I lie about it to say I'm getting more?
Yeah.
Like it's just it this is supposed to be like the best 4 years of your life.
Yeah.
You're in college, you're 18 to 22 or 23 years old, and you're supposed to be enjoying this and like playing some ball, meeting your future wife
Yeah.
or not meeting your future wife, but meeting a lot of really good friends while you're in college. And it's just like I feel like all the joy is being sucked out of it by this pressure to go get money and to go somewhere else. And then I also just I've seen it, and I'll tell you, in 4 or 5 years, you're going to see the carnage, man. It's
Yeah.
just like so many guys are making these decisions for the wrong reasons, and then other people are reaping the benefits of those decisions, not the young men
Yeah.
who are making them.
Yeah, and I mean it's crazy. I know you mentioned earlier you're one of the guys still recruiting freshmen. I mean, now some teams are recruiting G League guys to somehow are able to now come back and play college basketball. So
Right.
it's
Well,
definitely
there was a
definitely weird.
story, and I won't name names, obviously, but this summer I was at one of the big tournaments, and I was standing with two major college coaches who were friends because we're both old men, all three of us, and the two of them were complaining about this whole NIL thing. And I just started to laugh. And they said, "What are you laughing about?" I said, "You guys have been paying guys for the last 30 years." I said, "Are you shitting me?" I said, "Now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden everyone's got it's a level playing field, So
Yeah.
they had some prime words for me. They were giving me a hard time about it. But look, it's a beautiful game when it's played the right way.
Yeah.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have done this as a career for 40 years. And I just hope that we find a way to reel this thing back in and just make it less stressful full and less of a burden on these young people that are supposed to be enjoying their time playing some college basketball.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I know you mentioned how you've been around the game for 40 years. If you were a new coach getting into the game, do you think you'd be able to last 40 years, given just that it's now become basically a
No,
24/7,
listen, I tell
365?
my young guys on my staff, I tell them all, go find great Division II or Division III jobs, coach your ass off, be home every night for dinner. There's sanity on
Yeah.
that level. You're going to lose your players because everyone's coming down and stealing the D2 guys and the D3 guys if they're good players.
Yeah.
But there's just a little more sanity to it, and there's a rhythm to it, and you can be around and enjoy time with your family. If I was a few years into this thing, I would have probably gone and done what all the guys I grew up with at home were. They either became cops or firemen. And now they all give me a hard time because they're golfing 3 days a week and I'm still working.
I've got some fun ones here to wrap things up a little bit for you. I know I've been talking with all the coaches in the state. Seems some have some level of pregame superstitions. Are there any that you've kind of incorporated into your routine over your 40 years?
No, man. I mean, I always was just a guy if I could sneak home. I'm not a big sleeper at night. I'm a like 6 hour guy. I've always been that way. But maybe I'll get home and shut my eyes for half an hour if I'm lucky and then come back. But no, I never really had any great superstitions in regards to going into games. I think as I've gotten older and done this a longer time, I realized that the greatest thing you can have is players.
Yeah.
And Jim Valvano used to say, the most important thing is having players. The second most important thing is who you schedule,
Yeah.
and coaching is a distant third. And I'm a true believer in that.
Yeah.
So I think you keep it simple and you get good players to play hard all the time, and you have a good system in place. And I've got a tremendous staff here. Like
Yeah.
the guys who work for me, God bless them, they work their tails off, and I want them all to be head coaches.
Yeah.
And I learned that when I was working with Coach Massimino, who produced, I think, 22 Division I or NBA head coaches that had been his assistants. And, stand on my shoulders, man. If I'm this good, I want you to be that much better.
Yeah.
And then the guys who work for you, I want them to be that much better. And I was so lucky to work for guys like, McKillop, Massimino, and
Yeah.
Wright.
Yeah. Coming into this season, I know it always gets crazy and the off season's getting shorter, but what was the best part of your off season that was non-basketball related you were able to do?
Well, one of my daughters got married. Our
Oh, there
second
you
girl
go.
got married. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Actually, I had to wait all the way until Columbus Day weekend. We did it out in Montauk Point, Long Island.
Oh, nice.
Married a great guy. He's a Fairfield guy, but I still love him. And he went to St. Michael's, but he's from Fairfield, baseball player.
Okay.
But that was a highlight of the year. And as a coach, and in my case, my children are older now. Our youngest son just graduated, and he's working at Madison Square Garden. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
great to see him do that. He's doing the thing, living in the city, having some
Yeah.
fun. And our oldest girl has a granddaughter. So the family piece is so important
Yeah.
moving forward, and it's got to be for coaches. You got to be able to step away from this a little bit, because if not, it can consume you.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I really appreciate the time. Best of luck to you and your team this weekend. And I'm sure we got a lot of UConn fans who listen to this. I'm sure they're hoping you go out and beat up on St. John's Monday to kick things
That's all
off
right.
here.
Those UConn fans are okay by me too. Thanks
Awesome.
so
Well,
much. We appreciate you.
absolutely. Thank you.